Alright everybody, I've been kind of absent from YouTube for a little bit due to a hip change. I had that hip change back in February, and now it got infected, so I had to get another hip change. So now they sent me home with IV antibiotics. It's going to be fed through a PICC line. I'll show you guys how to do that. So the PICC line obviously is going to get installed at the hospital. You're going to have a nurse come over and probably walk you through this step. But first step with this is you got your bag. This antibiotic is called Invans. First you break the seal on it. Then you mix it up. Get all the white powder substance up back into the bag. After it's mixed, okay, that's first step. Second step is you always want to start with clean hands. You're dealing with an infection, obviously, so you want to keep everything as clean as possible. So I'll clean my hands here. First step you do is you always use a new line. Every time you do this, it's always new line. I do this once a day, so they'll send you enough line if you're fortunate enough to do this. So the first thing you got to do is prime the line. You got to get all the air out of it. So we'll just take this tab. We'll hang it up. We're going to take this cap and mate them. Now since these are capped, you don't have to clean it. You just make sure you just don't touch it. Uncapped, uncapped, and then you plug this needle up into the bag so it punctures it. Alright, now there's a lock on each one of these, so you want to lock the fluid. If you're not using it, always just lock it. And you got to make sure that before anything goes into your body that lock is unlocked, otherwise it's not going to go through. So the first thing we'll do is we'll unlock this thing and we'll watch this thing drain. Make sure your dial is all the way open. It says open on it. Now it's going to run down and we'll watch it come back up. Obviously the fluid's only going to go as high as the bag, so if you just keep an eye on it, it'll start running up. And the fluid is right here, all the way to the top, and it's the top. Now lock it. Okay, now you can set this aside. Now this is still capped, so now the first thing you need to do when flushing the line is just grab two tubes of saline, and then also a tube of heparin. Heparin will be the last thing you do. Saline, the first one is just going to flush your line. Make sure it's clear. So I'm going to take this. By the way, this line runs through my arm, up to my chest, and down to my heart. You're going to take an alcohol swab pad. You're going to clean the end of this tip. Now they say you want to clean this thing for 15 seconds to 30 seconds. Just make sure it's clean. Last thing you want is another infection, especially something that's going right up against your heart. Okay, that one's clean. I'm going to stick this just like that, like I'm holding a cigarette. I'm going to take my first shot of saline. I'm going to take all the air out of it. Air is out. I'm going to take another swab. I'm going to clean this end. Now we're going to connect the two. Now I have a lock here similar to this lock. I'm going to unlock it. And now I'm going to flush the line. Now this can be used for any drip IV, whether you just need to get fluids, or if you have to have an antibiotic. You might not have that antibiotic, you might not have to mix it, you might have to refrigerate it. This is in a powder form, so I don't have to refrigerate it, it just gets mixed right before I do this. Okay, line flushed. Now disconnect your flush. Uncap your IV. Plug in your IV. Now these just screw on. And you want to raise your IV just above your head. I'll try and keep it in the shot. Now instead of just pure open, these got a bunch of numbers on it from 5 to 250. On this antibiotic it calls for 200, so we're going to turn it to 200 and then we're going to unlock it. Then up here is just an airlock, and it'll help it feed its way down. Give it a couple of taps. I don't know if you guys can see that, but we are going. Now with this bag and the setting at 200, this is going to take about a half an hour. So I will save you the trouble, and we will pause this, and then I will come back when I'm done.